Cheers. Good to see you all. Good to see you. My name's James. I'm from Kettering, which is a small town next to the Weetabix factory. Yeah, you should whoop. It's a very popular dish. It's and all of you who eat it, you'll eat it in different ways. Some of you might cover it in yoghurt and honey. Other people, strawberries and cream or sugar and raisins. Basically, just get Weetabix and cover it in anything that tastes better than Weetabix. That's the rule. Some people get annoyed when I do that bit because I don't list how they have their Weetabix in the morning. You laugh. In Wolverhampton, it kicked off. So, oh, you're a cool guy. Got a hat on. I bet you've got a good phone as well. Have you got a good phone?
It's all right, yeah.
Let's get a look. Pretty cool. Nice. So what are they doing? Unlucky sucker. Oldest trick in the book. Actually, I'll compare it to mine. Actually, while we're here, I'll see who's cooler, me or the hats. Hold on. Basically, you've already seen this fella, this contender. Remember him? Woo. Yeah. I know this looks so wrong. So I could just do the whole gig like that, am I? Bam. Yeah. Of course I've won. If you can't see that at the back, it's the phone you used to have. So, you know, this is actually not as good as it looks as well, because about 6 months ago, I threw it across a road. Not on purpose. I've got, you know, I gesticulate a lot when I talk. I've got bad grip, and making a passionate point outside a pub, and then I didn't have my phone anymore. So now it's got no buttons in it. There's no buttons in that phone anymore. So for the last 6 months, because I'm skint, this is how I've been living my life. Right, I know that looks lame, but from a distance, it appears as though I've got a BlackBerry. I get ladies approach me from across bars with this, seeing me from across the rooms going, oh, he looks quite... Oh no, he's just poking an old Nokia with a biro. Get your numbers, might take a while. I'll leave things to the last minute to get new ones anyway. They always break, and then I'll get a new one. Basically, oh, you probably want your phone back, don't you? Yeah. Everyone was thinking then he's actually nicked it. It'd be great if I just had loads of good phones. I'll tell you, I'll start off with a fun fact. I'll tell you a fun fact. I learned the other day that if you have Botox, right, on the night that you've had Botox, you fall asleep on the side of your face. You'll wake up the next morning and your eyebrow will have slid from here round to here. Tremendous. I figured out if you sleep evenly on both sides of your face, you'll wake up the next morning, it'll look like your eyes are in brackets. That's true, I think. I'm pretty gullible. I don't know. When I was 9, my dad took me to London for the day and spent the whole day just lying to me for his own amusement to see what I would believe. And the main one he got me with were on the escalators, going past all the different signs for all the different West End shows that are on the Underground. And he told me that the people who put up those posters have one of the hardest jobs in the world. I believed that into my teens. I had images of them walking backwards on the spot. Yes! Time to go home. My impression of a man on an escalator. Pretty good impression. You guys didn't get to see it. It's pretty sweet. I'll do that impression. My other impression I can do an impression of someone from Roman times reading a text message. It's quite a niche impression. You have no way of checking if it's true, but I'll do it for you now. I've got the phone now, I'll do it with this. I won't use the biro because they weren't invented in Roman times. This is someone from Roman times. They're reading a text message. 20? Oh no, those are kisses. So the best day out I ever had, I'll tell you this, I went to Woburn Safari Park. Fans of Woburn in, so there should be. It's an awesome place. I went with my girlfriend at the time, and it was brilliant. Before we even got into the park, it was amazing. We're driving up to the gate, and there was a sign on the gate, and the sign said, "There will be no lions in the park today due to strong winds." I'm not sure, but I think reading that sign may have been better than actually seeing a lion. Like, some of the things it makes you imagine straight away. Just like, is a lion really that flimsy? Is the king of the jungle that vulnerable to drafts? Because if he is, leave them out. I will pay double for that show. Figured out right, if Woburn Safari Park want to save a lot of money, all they've got to do is get rid of all their animals and just replace them with vague notices explaining why the animals are no longer there. To fuel our imaginations with. There will be no cheetahs in the park today due to slippery grass. There will be no zebras in the park today due to Zebra Christmas. There will be no chameleons in the park today, or will there? Me and that girl, we split up after that. It's not a sad story, we just weren't right for each other. Like, for example, I used to have a T-shirt and... I've owned more T-shirts since. I used to have a T-shirt, had a drawing of a haunted house on it. And in all the little windows, there were ghosts. But you couldn't see the ghosts if the lights were on, because the ghosts would glow in the dark. Right, she didn't think that was cool. No, I'm not cool. I was in the Scouts till I was 15. That is as old as you're allowed to be in the Scouts before they ask you to leave. Like, it's fine. I never got bullied at school or anything like that. Although I was chatting to my dad about school recently, and he was there going, "Well, you know, James, school's tough for anyone. Don't have to tell you, you got bullied." I was like, "No, I didn't. I've never been bullied at school." He just went, "Didn't you? I just always assumed you did." Like, assumed. That means he'd watch me leave for school every morning with my trousers 2 sizes too small for me and my Thomas the Tank Engine lunchbox, and just be like, "Well, I'd bully him." Sending our child to the slaughter, Diane, and nearly punched him in the face myself. Once, my friend Emma went into school and another kid hit her in the face with a sock full of acorns. Right. Thanks for laughing, because when I laughed, she got so offended. She thought I was laughing at the fact that she got hurt, which I wasn't. What I was laughing at in that sentence was a sock full of acorns. That was going to make me laugh. She said I went to school today, a kid hit me in the face with a brick. You laugh now because of the brilliant build-up. Normally, people getting hit in the face with bricks is never funny. Unless it's in the film Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, when it's hilarious. It's classic. But she wanted to stop me from laughing, right? It's the worst way she could have tried to stop me laughing ever. I was there, I was on the floor, properly loving it, and she just went, "Don't laugh." It was full right up to the heel. Worst I've ever got. I got poked in the eye once. You know. Fair enough. I poked eye. This wasn't even in school. It was like a couple of years ago. And I had to go to Moorfields Eye Hospital. And on the way there, in the cab, I was in denial about how bad the eye was. So I was trying to do a crossword the whole way there, like the whole thing. And every time the cabbie would look at me in the rearview mirror, I'd chew the pen to make it like I was struggling with the clues that had nothing to do with the fact my eye was bleeding. And then dropped me off at Moorfields. As I was walking up to the door, everyone was recoiling from my hideous face, just trying to get out of my way. It's like, right, let me go to the toilets, assess the damage, see how bad this is. Now, it's pretty bad. But what really stood out was that I had a river of ink running all the way down my chin. I've been chewing the pen. Everyone must have been looking at me going, "Oh, God, he can't take care of himself at all." Sitting at home, breaking off pens in his mouth and jabbing them in his eye. You get what you deserve. Sitting there in the waiting room next to a lady, she asked me how I'd hurt my eye. Now, at the time, it's before I did stand up, I used to work in a school with autistic children. And one of them kicked off that day. When I tried to get involved, the way he responded was, he got his finger and he ploughed it into my eye, with a crunch. And when it was in there, quickly, just... Didn't do any of this. What he did was, formed a hook. Then, on the return journey, dragged his very long fingernail over my eyeball, scratching the surface. And when I told her this, she went, "Oh, you work with autistic children? That must be so rewarding." Not all the time. About a week after me and the Woburn girl split up, I went to a house party. Now, house parties are the worst places to be if you've just split up with someone. You're surrounded by two types of people at a house party. You've got couples and people trying to form new couples. There's no one in between. I overheard one bloke, quite drunk, lean into a girl and say, "At the end of the day, I can be anything from a horny twat to a knobhead." Now, that is quite the range to give yourself. Essentially saying, "Oh, I'll always wind you up, but sometimes I'll do it with a boner." Even that didn't cheer me up. To go upstairs to the toilet, not because I wanted to go to the toilet, just wanted to get away from everyone, really. And as I was walking towards the door, it was flung open. And this guy was just standing there, just looking at me, quite drunk. And eventually, he broke the silence. He went, "Mate, I love that T-shirt." I looked down, and I'm wearing the Haunted House T-shirt. Now, my self-esteem's been at rock bottom for a whole week. Right now, with one compliment from a stranger, it's like, bing, back in the room. But then I realise I'm in a very well-lit corridor at the moment. Right now, I'm getting a compliment on a drawing of a haunted house. So far, I could double my money here. I leant in. I never looked so seriously at another human being in my whole life. I just went, "You do realise this glows in the dark." He could not pull me inside that bathroom fast enough. Straight in, door shut, and my T-shirt started doing its thing when we turned the lights off, and he was going to contain himself. He was so excited, the whole thing, he's just there going, "Oh, mate, that is awesome." I was like, "Yes, she never appreciated this." I was like, "That's one coming out the chimney." I was like, "That's the chimney ghost." My favourite ghost. It was then that I realised there are three types of people at a house party and not two. There are couples, there are people trying to form new couples, and there are newly single men standing in a darkened bathroom showing their glowing ghost to another dude. Thank you. You guys have been an absolute pleasure to talk to. I hope to see you again soon. I'll see you later. Goodbye.
Hello. Hi, everyone. You all well? Hey, there you are. Oh, look at that. The last time I saw my name written that many times was on the wall of a toilet in the town that I'm from. But look how far I've come. Hooray! Which is also quite similar to something else that was written on the wall of the toilet. So, yay, I'm just delighted to be here, really. I'm just really happy to be here. I feel a bit like Niall Horan, One Direction. Do you know what I mean? For those of you who don't know, One Direction is like a group of singing children made up entirely of fringes and inappropriate thoughts. You know? And Niall Horan's like the Irish one. And he's just so happy to be there, you know, because like the group is made up of like 4 angels and Niall. And Niall is just a normal lad. He is all of us. And he's just so delighted to be there. Like you always see the camera panning across them all, you know, and it's just like, "You're insecure, don't know what for. You're turning heads as you walk through the door." Yeah, there's Niall at the end, and he's just like not doing the same things as anyone else, just clicking away, winking away. Winking's like Irish heroin, you know, or we love that. Do you know what I mean? Everyone says, "Oh, Aisling, you know, you shouldn't be so hard on Niall, you know, because he's, you know, the one in the group." But you know that he is hoovering up the poonanny that the pretty ones don't want. Do you know what I mean? Just delighted to be here. I often have to go back, you know, to visit my mother in Ireland. And she thinks I live this crazy life in London where I, like, brush my teeth with cocaine and wipe my arse with money. Do you know what I mean? So she thinks that every time I go home to Ireland, she has to, like, remind me about death, you know. So I come in the door, I'm like, hey, Mommy, how are you? How is it? Great to be home. Well, you never believe who's dead. And you're like... Buzzkill, come on. And then what ensues is what I can only describe as a game of death guess who, where I'm like, well, I don't know who's dead, Mammy. What's it? Does he have a mustache? No. Fine. Does he wear a hat? Not anymore. And so when I go home, I like to use my acting for bad. So I go in the door and I'm like, hey, Mommy, how's it going? How's everything been? Do you know what I mean? And she's like, well, you'll never believe who's dead. And at that stage, I just go... And I basically just fall to the floor dead. A great way to, like, teach children about death is with pets. You know, psychologically, it's a great way to teach children about death. So, you know, like, you buy your child a hamster, and then after 5 years, when it's attached to it, you break its neck. And then you go, right, now I'm going to teach you what's going to happen to Granny very soon. Do you know what I mean? And then you die, and they die, and the circle continues, you know what I mean? But, like, when I was growing up, we had this pet rabbit called Bubbles. And, like, Bubbles, I thought, had a great life. You know, just running around, pooing in our shoes. I was like, there's a guy who knows how to party. But, like, you never know what's going on inside someone's head, lads. And one night, Bubbles got at his hutch and he bit away at the wire in his hutch like this until it sort of came out in a long spear. And then he turned himself around and he reversed his arsehole onto that sphere. And it punctured every single organ on the way up. They say he died of a broken heart in the end. So the next morning, my mother had to sort of, you know, him off the wire, and it was up to my neighbour Jim Murphy to bury Bubbles a rabbit. Do you know what I mean? And so Jim dug a grave for Bubbles as he remembered him, which is a small little rabbit like this. But when rabbits die, they don't die as they were. They die with their arms sort of longer than their ears and the legs longer than their short lives. And so my first memory of death was basically standing in front of this grave with Jim Murphy in front of me and going, in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Dear Jesus, we give you Bubbles a rabbit to bury, to go to heaven with all the other angel rabbits. And I couldn't believe it. There was Jim Murphy in front of me, kind of shoving Bubbles into the grave with the end of his welly boot like this. And still to this day, lads, whenever I have bad sex, I can't help but be reminded of Jim Murphy shoving that flaccid rabbit into a hole that was made for a live one. You know? We're like... A great way to end up not dead, in general, is just sort of look after yourself and be into exercise, you know. And, like, that's a great idea in theory. Like, they say that you should really go running for your sanity and stuff. But I would rather be as mad as a pair of cats fighting to get out of a sack than go for a run. Do you know what I mean? Which is actually, when I don't wear a sports bra, quite the same thing that it looks like. Like a pair of cats trying to fight out the sack, you know. There is only one exception to that rule, and that is dancing. OMG, shit the bed, lads. I love me some dancing. I really do. And I know you're all looking at me going, no, Aisling, we all know what type of dancing you like. A diddly-idle do, diddly-diddly-idle do. Hip-hop, actually. Hip-hop, you xenophobes. I love hip-hop. I really do, lads. Like, even now, you're listening to all this really good English coming out of my mouth, but inside my mind, I'm like, my palms are sweaty, knees are weak, arms are spaghetti. Like, always hip-hop. Do you know what I mean? Myself and my sister Sinead are mad into the hip-hop, and we go wiggity-wiggity-whack, you know, as soon as a new urban hip-hop street dance movie comes out. Do you know the type of film I'm talking about? It's like Romeo and Juliet, but with street dance. Do you know what I mean? The storyline's always like, he is from one form of dance. She is probably from another form of dance. She has a bit of a dead parent. He is a stripper, but really he wants to be a carpenter. Oh, you know. She teaches underprivileged kids how to do hip-hop at the local community centre. Oh, but wait, the community centre's going to close down. But wait now, there is a talent show with the exact same amount of prize money needed to fix a community centre. Hooray! Myself and Sinead are in that cinema and we are eating this for breakfast. We're like, oh my God, the odds are really stacked against them. I don't know if he's ever going to stop being such a stripper. We come out of that cinema and we're like, hey, Sinead, how are we going to get home? The only way we know how, through hip-hop. Oh. Takes us ages to get home. But the only thing is, living in London and being mad into the hip-hop dancing as I am, I find dancing is very segregated. So like when I want to go and do my hip and my hop dancing, I have to go to a hip hop club. And like say for example, if I was into cheesy music, I'd have to go somewhere for cheesy people. Or if I wanted to go and listen to funk music, I'd have to go somewhere for douchebags. You know, there's sort of something for everyone, but nothing for everyone. Do you know what I mean? And that's very different to when I was growing up. Because when I was growing up in the small town of Kildare, there was only one nightclub for about a 20-mile radius. And that nightclub had to cater for all sorts of musical tastes. Why? Because for a 20-mile radius, that nightclub was the only place for young people to breed. And so it had to cater for all sorts of musical tastes. The DJ was a bit like David Attenborough, you know. He knew exactly what music to play to bring the males and the females together at the watering hole. Or the dance floor, you know. So it's 9 p.m. and all the females arrive. All the females always travel in packs. And they're all very nervous. You know, we're all very nervous women. We've only had about 9 vodkas, you know. We're all covered head to toe in wash-off fake tan. Some of us have stood up before we've entirely finished our wee, and there's a bit of a trickle, you know, and you have to go blending it back in as you walk out, you know, this sort of thing. And the whole big thing now is to get the women onto the dance floor. Do you know what I mean? So you play music that women can mime to. Yeah! Women love miming. They do! They love miming. Given a choice between walking somewhere and following an invisible rope, a woman will always follow the invisible rope. They love miming. They're down on the dance floor going, no, I don't want no scrubs. A scrub there. Come on, Eileen. They love that. They think they're hilarious. But there's a problem with this picture here. As the French would say, où est le coq? Where is a cock? There's no cock on that dance floor. You have to get some men down there, so you have to lay some bait. So what do all males love? What do all men love of all races, religions and creeds? What do they all love? Sluts! Sluts! They all love sluts. They do. So you play music by empowered women, as the men who keep telling them to keep singing without their tops on tell them that they are. So when I was growing up, it was like, dirty, gonna get a little unruly. And we were off and we were having sex with each other's legs, or having sex with the walls, all like this. You know, now it's very important if you're a woman dancing that you dance like you're a man having sex. If you dance like you're a woman having sex, you look like a joyous baby. You know what I mean? So you're there and you go, dirty, gonna get a little unruly. And now women release their final form of bait, which is their hair. Yeah, very much in the same way a female cat will lift up her tail and release her arse scent into the wild. A woman uses her hair. So we're like, dirty, gonna get a little unruly, and we're off, and we're going mad, and we're cleaning the floor with our hair and our own legs and our hair, and everything's going on. The men are over by the dance floor, and they're like, Jesus, there seems to be an awful lot of hair going on down in the dance floor. I think something might be afoot. That's right, lads. Sluts are afoot. Get you down there. We're like, you couldn't just walk into that if you're a man. You could get your knob punched. Get your knob. Be very, very careful, you know? So you have to play something that men can dance to. You have to get the men down there. What does the DJ play? Dun, 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 dun. Jump around. Men love jumping. They love jumping now. Given a choice between walking somewhere and jumping, a man will always choose to jump. As soon as a DJ sees that there's some eye contact being made, he slows things down, but not too dramatically, quite slowly, with some happy hardcore dance music. Yes, dance music is used to mop up all the Egypts around the sides who think that they can't dance, but everyone can dance to dance music. It's named after the main form of dance, which is dance. Unlike with mime, you don't have to listen to the storyline, because basically you just pretend to be doing stuff from around the house. Chopping bread, buttering the bread, pointing it, checking your Facebook. You know, whatever you want to do. Because dance music is just a series of beeps. And then, and I'm not being xenophobic, but a Germanic person singing a sentence that no one understands. Oh, tell me why do we build castles in the sky? I don't know why you build castles in the sky, to be honest. The men and the women they're circling each other now and it's all going well. As soon as the DJ sees them circling each other, it is time to drop the slow set. The slow set is the opportunity to touch a tit. You know? So all of a sudden you've just been having a bit of a fish to some insomnia or something like that, and then boom, I don't want to close my eyes. I don't want to fall asleep because I don't want to miss a thing. Oh, no, fair enough. Yeah. She didn't go for it, she must be frigid. And then, as we know, the bouncer comes around and he says, here, lads, leave space for Jesus. Leave space for Jesus. But as we know, it's grand because after Lent, Jesus was quite a thin man. So you don't have to leave too much space, you know? And then we don't want the babies made here on the dance floor tonight. So it is time to wrap up the evening. How do you wrap up a disco? With the Irish national anthem! Yay! You take your hand out of whoever's pants it's been down. You put it on your heart and you sing Shana Fianna Fáil. How are you getting home? Don't know yet. That's actually not from Lord of the Rings. It's a real language recognised by the EU. So who's a xenophobe now? Yeah. Then you take your raffle ticket out of your bra and you go to the cloakroom to get your jacket. Now, women go and get their jackets. Men don't, because they are naturally protected from the weather by Fred Perry. So then, we all go and we get our bag of chips and we go into the car park to watch the fight. Yeah! Honestly, lads, like, living in London, people are always like, oh, Aisling, don't go watch the fight, don't get involved. He might have a knife. He might have a knife. If I don't get involved in the fight, how am I going to know what it's about? So you go down to watch the fight and you're like, oh God, I just don't want any drama now tonight. I just do not want any drama. I do not want any drama. I don't want any drama now with this fight. Oh my God, I think it might be about me. Here, Denise, hold me earrings. I'm going in. Sean Jr., Sean Sr., you're both brothers. Stop fighting. You both fingered me equally well. Just stop fighting about it is all. And then everyone drunk drives home. So I'm going to leave you on this. As you know, we're coming into the summer, and I'm not a particularly tanned person, but here's a tip should you wish to appear exotic. Walk around with a giant Toblerone underneath your arm. It's like, oh, someone's been away. Lads, you've been lovely. I've been well and bleh. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Hello. How are we doing, all right? Good, excellent. I think we may as well crack on, hadn't we? Yeah, let's move this bad boy along. I'll start. Username, Ed Gamble. It's me. Password, funny. Let's log in for the comedy. That's it. That is literally the beginning. I did that opening in Leeds about 3 weeks ago, and someone shouted from the back, password incorrect. Please try again or contact your service provider. Now I'd like to tell you a story. Before I tell you the story, I'll take a quick straw poll. Who here has heard of Radio 1 rap DJ Tim Westwood? Who here is a fan of Radio 1 rap DJ Tim Westwood? Good, you're going to like this story. I interviewed to be Tim Westwood's booking agent. I was a little bit nervous before I went in for the interview because the only experience I'd ever had of him up until this point was when I saw him live. Has anyone here seen Tim Westwood live? No. Basically, when he's live, what he does, he DJs, he puts on the beginning of a song that he likes, gets quite bored, and puts on another song. You're essentially in the car with him while he's fucking about with the radio. Now, something else he does when he's live, and this is amazing, if he feels like it's going a bit awkward or he's losing the crowd, he'll just drop in an explosion sound effect. So go, fuck Tim, I'm losing him, come on Tim. And I've got him back. Now, on this particular occasion, this is when I saw him live a few years ago. These were his opening words. Now, I apologise, because this is horrible. But I've been assured he said this before as well. He walked out onto the stage and he looked at the assembled throng and he said, all the girls with dirty pussies, put your hands in the air. Put your hands down, madam. something to be proud of. If that was me doing one of my hip-hop gigs that I do, I'd come out onto the stage and say, right, hello, hip-hop and all that, welcome, raise the roof, etc. All the girls with dirty pussies, pop your hands in the air. Right, everyone with your hand up, get out. That is absolutely disgusting. You do not come out with a mucky tuppence. Foul. Foul. Look at you, you've done your dresses lovely, you've done your makeup, you put your jewellery on, yet you have left the house with a stinky lily. At least a lemon-scented baby wipe around the key area as you leave your... Right, gig's cancelled, I can smell it. Oh, gig's done. Oh, Jesus. I wouldn't do that last bit. So that's why I was a little bit nervous about meeting him, because of that. But now I was a little bit nervous as well, because you may have noticed I'm not the most hip-hop gentleman in the world. I'm not even the most hip-hop gentleman in my house. And I live with just my mum. But then again, my mum is Queen Latifah. So... now, I'm actually a little bit posh. You might have picked that up. I'm a little bit street, because I do a bit of rap. I don't do a bit of rap. I listen to a bit of rap. But I'm a little bit posh as well. I occupy what is essentially an awkward middle ground between hip-hop and posh. So, I do a drive-by shooting. But on a pheasant. I wouldn't pop a cap in a man's ass, but I would doff a cap to a man's wife. And guys, don't worry about messing with my homies, screwing my crew, that's fine. But if you cut the nose off the brie, you fuckers are going down. So stay away from my cheese balls. Right, I went into meeting genuinely terrified. I went dressed quite posh. I'm not sure what happened in my head. Obviously in my head I thought, you know, Ed, it's Tim Westwood. Why not go dressed hippity-hoppity? But then a little middle-class devil clearly popped up on my shoulder and just went, no, Ed, it's a job interview. Go in full Marks and Spencer's gear. So I went looking like a prime Wally, basically. I went and sat in the corridor outside this man's office. Outside his office, there was a box of condoms with his face on. Because he sponsored a safe sex campaign. Right, wait for this. Strap it up before you slap it up. The man's foul. I had one of those condoms. My friend Ray, is my best friend, I hope he doesn't mind me saying that. My friend Ray got me one of those condoms, right? We both had one, actually. They're both gone now. No, not like that. Water balloon fight. I opened up this condom. It says, strap it up before you slap it up on the front. You open it up. It's covered in filthy phrases. It's exactly what will not get you in the mood. The first thing you have to read when you open that condom is they call me Darth Vader because I rock a big helmet. Absolutely disgusting. You wade through this mire of filth, flat by... Bad choice of words. Flat by flat, right? You take the condom out. The last thing you have to read is follow me on Twitter. As if you're supposed to go, oh, it's very exciting, isn't it? I don't know why she's on the floor, but it's very exciting, isn't it? I can't wait for this. Oh, wait there. Oh, she's gone. So I went into meeting. Now, the interview, it didn't go particularly well. He didn't really like me because I was a little bit posh. He genuinely turned out to be quite a nice man. I think he's a bit of an eccentric. He should be embraced as such, but he's quite a nice bloke. But he didn't like me because I was too posh. It ended pretty swiftly when he looked at me and said, Ed, I don't think we can hire you because you don't have any Pacific experience. Pacific. Now, at this point, every English-educated bone in my body screamed at me, Ed! Don't correct him. Don't correct him. But it just fell out of my mouth. I said, well, Mr. Westwood, I think you'll find you mean specific. He just stared at me. It was really, really awkward. And all I could think to do at that point was look him dead in the eye and just go... Is anyone here with their dad tonight? My dad is basically a wally. I'm going to say that on air. I apologise, Dad, obviously. Please keep giving me pocket money. My dad's quite embarrassing, but I enjoy it. I love it. I really want to follow him round for 24 hours and just watch him fuck up every minute. This was amazing. This was when I was a bit younger. My dad took me into a baker's, presumably to complete his conspiracy of making me the same body shape as him. He's basically a capital D, if you can imagine that. I'm sort of lowercase at the moment, but we're hitting the caps lock, and hopefully we're going to get there quite soon. He took me into a baker's. He strode up to the counter, and he said to the lady behind the counter, "Hello!" Because he's from a Dickens novel. He said, "Hello." She said, "Hello," because she was from then. He said, "We'll have the Danish boog, please." Now, she looked at us like many of you are looking at me now, because the Danish boog doesn't exist. Not a thing. Never been invented, probably never will. So she obviously said, "No, sir, I've never heard of that. I'm afraid we can't give you something that doesn't exist." So he replied, "The Danish boog." You'll notice no drop-off in confidence between the two requests. He just thought it must be her that's wrong, we'll plough on. So she again said, "Sorry, sir, there's genuinely no such thing as a Danish boog." He then pointed to the chalkboard behind her and said, "The Danish boog." She turned round, looked at the chalkboard, turned back to us and said, "The Danish 800 gram." He's supposed to be a lawyer, he can't read. Now, to get out of this situation, I could tell he was a little bit embarrassed. To get out of this Danish boog 800 gram situation, his response immediately was, "No, that's too heavy." As if he'll have a boog, which doesn't exist, but he won't have one over 700 grams. That's far too hefty for Andrew Gamble. So that is my dad. Now, I noticed when I came on tonight, you sir, you asked me a question, didn't you?
I did.
You asked me a question. Do you remember what it was?
No.
I'll jog your memory for you. A lot of people at the back may not have been able to hear that. A lot of people next to you, sir, may not have been able to hear that. You may not have been able to hear that. But you asked me a question. You said, "Ed, you look quite unhealthy. Why don't you eat fruit?" Which, you know, looking back on it, it seemed quite harsh. But I'm willing to let you off and give all of you the answer. Basically, I don't eat fruit because of anagrams. Don't worry, I'll explain it. I'm not just going to walk off to that. Basically, any fruit that I try and eat, it turns out that an anagram of that fruit is something that I'm ethically against. Now, this is possibly the most contrived premise you will ever hear. What I will say is if you hop on board early, it's very rewarding. If you get left behind at any point, it's utter dog shit. So let's hop on board. Let's go. Quick example, the pineapple. I can't have a pineapple because I'm against bestiality. As we all should be. I'm against bestiality, and pineapple is an anagram of ape nipple. Quite a few of you on board. Some of you still at port. Don't worry, you've got time. Finish your tea and let's get on. I can't have a mango. Can't have a mango because I'm against male people leaving. And mango is an anagram of man go. Bless you for clapping, but they genuinely get worse. Melon. I can't have a melon because I hate lemon. And melon is an anagram of lemon. Can't have a lemon. Just hate them, we've established that. This one's a bit blue, so be careful with this one. Tangerine. I can't have a tangerine because I'm against anal oral sex. And tangerine is an anagram of Eton Ring. Those of you who've just joined us on board have immediately gone down to the sick bay. I can't have a passion fruit. I can't have a passion fruit because I'm against mathematicians indulging in golden showers. And passion fruit is an anagram of ratio piss fun. If you're offended, you don't need to clap. This is the last one, and then I'll leave you. Pomegranates. I can't have a pomegranate. This one's ridiculous. Can't have a pomegranate because I don't think the X-Men should ever be sexually violent. And pomegranate is an anagram of Magneto rape. I'm going to leave you guys. Thank you very much. Hope you next time. Good night.
Lovely. Looks very nice. I'm used to doing gigs. I've done a few gigs recently, quite macho gigs, where I'll explain what a macho gig is. Basically, when a woman walks on, you can see them sort of thinking, there's a woman. This might be shit. Sexist, I call them. But I kind of want to cater for everyone. I want to make sure they're happy as well. So what I've done is I've catered for that, and I've just got a cock and balls. So, I think we all feel a lot more comfortable now. And what I've done is I've wetted the end there for realism. And I don't know why, but on the other side, I've written party time. Because I'm an optimist. So this is nice. I've given up drinking recently, and I'm not happy about it. But what's happened is I've formed an allergic reaction to alcohol, which is as awful as it sounds. And what happens is one eye swells up. It's usually this guy. And it lasts for about a week. It goes really purple and swells up. And I had it for a whole week after my birthday. And every shop that I went into, like, especially if it was a female cashier, they'd just look at me like this. You knew she was thinking, just leave him. And it happened so many times in this week, right? I was going to get a T-shirt made saying, but I love him. Before this, I used to be a business lady, and I quit because of the glass ceiling effect, which is the same reason I left the British Museum. No, for that joke to work, you sort of have to know what a metaphorical glass ceiling is. Then you've got to know that the British Museum have got, like, the biggest ever glass ceiling. And then you've got to think it's funny, so... it's a bit of a tall order. But I like this job because you get to work from home quite a lot. And I like working from home because you can investigate different things. Like, if you run out of milk, this is quite a good tip, right? If you run out of milk, you can put yoghurt in your coffee and it totally ruins it. I've always liked older men, and I used to do this thing, like, I think all girls do it when they're about 15, 16. You go to the pub and you sort of want to get chatted up by sort of 19, 20-year-olds, and they like 16-year-olds, so it all works out perfectly. But I never knew what to say if they'd say, like, how old are you? Because I used to hate that question, because you can't say 15, like, in case they're not a nonce. I really hated this question. I dreaded it, right? Until I came up with this saying that I thought was so profound that when I said it, it wasn't even mine. I got it from somewhere, and I thought it was so profound. When I said this, they're going to think, she's so mature. She's at least 27. And we'll do a role play, right? And I'll give the answer that I gave every time when I was 15. So we'll pretend we're in Louisa Bay and Broadstairs. I'm 15, you're 19. You say to me, how old are you? And I'll give the answer verbatim that I gave. Okay.
How old are you?
Age is not a time or place. It is a state of mind. Every time. Age is not a time or place, it's a state of mind. No one thought age was a time or place. You don't be like, oh yeah, just off on our holidays. Where are you going? 8 years old. What time are you going? 21 today. Ridiculous. The guy that I went out with before my boyfriend, he was a lot older. He was like 45. But one of the cool ones, like he wore trainers and everything, so don't worry. He was nice, a nice guy, but we realised we were totally incompatible when we were on a mini break. And it's nice doing that, because then we spent the last 2 days just as friends. And there's such a level of refreshing honesty that you get in that situation, because you don't want anything from each other. And we were so honest and having nice chats to the point that when we drove back to the airport, the radio was on, and I said to him, "What's your favourite song?" It's a sort of level of banter you can expect if you're my friend. And he said... But that is a hard question, what's your favourite song? Like, I would come up with, like, 20 songs, and then I'd email them a week later going, "Well, I forgot about Taj Mahal and Blind Melon." But he knew his mind, perhaps because he was 45. And I said to him, "What's your favourite song?" And straight away, he said, "Robbie Williams." Angels. Yes. Robbie Williams. Some people were not bothered. It's been inside me. So then I thought, who is this guy? Like, we were dating for 3 months before that. You know, like, I thought, who is this guy? You know, and so I said to him, "Well, who's your ideal woman?" Thinking, well, it's definitely not me. And I thought maybe he'd say Britney Spears. Perfectly reasonable, probably a nice girl. And he said, well, this is verbatim, he said, "Well, I've got a blue DVD at home." It's not a great start, is it? Also, who uses the word blue? A 45-year-old. So, "I've got a blue DVD at home, and there's a 17-year-old girl in that, and I'd quite like to spunk in her face." Now, gentlemen, what is wrong with you? You can have a full stop after that, but what is wrong with you that when you see something of aesthetic beauty, you think to yourself, "Well, I can't fully appreciate that without redecorating it." I mean, do you go to a museum and be like, "Oh, what a lovely ancient relic from another civilization. Going to have to spaff all over that." "Oh, Auntie Pauline, what a lovely floral dress." Etc., etc. I should have used any other name apart from Pauline, because I have got an Auntie Pauline. But my mum and dad are quite bright. Well, they're really bright. And my stepdad especially, really, really intelligent. And I always wonder why I'm not more intelligent. I mean, I'm not that thick that I think, oh, hang on, my stepdad's really clever. Why haven't I inherited any of that? Those things. Like, I always sort of think I'm not intelligent enough. And instead of doing something about it, I moan about it to my friends. So I'll be like, "Oh, I'm not intelligent enough." And because they're nice people, they're like, "Don't worry, Lou. You've got good emotional intelligence." Yeah, I'll be on your quiz team, shall I? This is me on a quiz team. Why did Mussolini invade wherever he invaded? I haven't done all the research. Why did Mussolini invade... I've got this team. Is it because he was a middle child? Something to do with breastfeeding. But I think generally, like, dumb people are more entertaining. They are, because I got on a train, I was coming back from Wales, I know, how the other half live, and there was this guy, and he was so, I did really like him. He was probably having like a bit of a day, a bit of a to-do, and right, we're doing an impression of him, because I went to City Lit acting class for the weekend. Guys, it's going to be £50 well spent. So I'm just going to go into it, and, OK, if you shout action, and then... Have you spent any time in the performing arts? I mean, I don't want to... I've got to get into character. I mean, I know I'm a great actor, but I've got to get into character, for God's sake. Well, I like your commitment, but let me just get into... I mean, we can't all be professionals. OK.
And action.
That was lovely. Wasn't it lovely? Yes, I think so. It was so lovely. Because what you did there is you cracked me up with an and you let the and rest you. And I mean, it was a dream come true in terms of directing. Watch out, the crew. OK. But then I interrupted myself, so not your fault. OK. And by the way, we're on a train. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, this isn't homophobic, it's just the way that he spoke. So it's important to remember that.
Action.
Hello, everybody. This is Barry speaking, your cabin crew member for today. We're on a train. I regret to inform you that the boiler has broken, OK? So there'll be no tea, no coffee, and no hot chocolates. I've got to phone my manager in Swindon and sort this out. Off you pop then, Baz, because I'm a bit parched. But a minute later, he was back to the tannoy, and no one had even got on or off the train, right? So good for him, committed, you know. But he had the exact same message. 2 minutes later, he's back again. This time he goes, I'm sorry, people. Things have gone from bad to worse. We are now totally out of Fanta. So, if you did want a tea, a coffee, a hot chocolate, or a Fanta, this is now not possible. Oh. Well, Beverly has just found 2 bottles of Fanta. Women and children first. OK, you've been really nice. I'm going to come to the end of my set now, but you've been lovely. And it's weird with stand-up because people talk about themselves a lot, and I always think that's a bit, you know, like comics go, oh, another thing about me. And it's sort of, oh, God, really? But it's a weird one because people say, oh, talk about what you know. And I know myself so well. Sometimes I finish my own sentences. Piss off. OK, so this is basically what I'm saying is you've been very kind, and this is now to give back. This is to you. So we just fishing for compliments. That's the one. Hey, that's a nice jumper. Fishing for compliments. That's a nice sentiment. La 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 la. Fishing for compliments. That's a hey, that's a nice jumper. Fishing for compliments. That's a nice sentiment. La 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 la. Okay. What's your name? Jordan. Jordan, he must be very excited about his compliment. OK, Jordan, if your face was on currency, I would have a very sticky purse. Fishing for compliments, someone, hey, that's a nice jumper. Fishing for compliments, that's a nice sentiment. La 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 la. Fishing for compliments, tell someone, hey, that's a nice jumper. Fishing for compliments, tell someone. OK, what's your name? Chantal. You must be very excited as well about... OK. Very slick, Lou. How do you do it? I don't know. Chantal, you are like a fine, expensive bottle of wine. You just keep getting left on the shelf. It's OK, I chose a very pretty girl with a high self-esteem. Fishing for compliments. Someone, hey, that's a nice jumper. Fishing for compliments. Someone, hey, that's a nice jumper. Fishing for compliments. Sentiment. Basically, just hitting someone with a stick. Passing it off as comedy. OK, what's your name? Simon. You'd be perfect if you just washed your cock once in a while. Hey, you've been really nice, and thanks in advance for all the positive tweets about how much you've enjoyed my set. Goodbye!